Coming up on Newsline, the Prime Minister of Thailand says the new cabinet lineup has been finalized and calls on all sides to stop speculating and criticizing the cabinet seat allocation on social media. And the G20 summit concluded in Japan on Saturday as countries look to further their mutual and strategic cooperation in all areas and end disputes in a peaceful fashion. All that and more coming right up. Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting on NBT and NBT World. It's Sunday, June 30th of 2019, and my name is Sandra Han Utsaha. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha confirmed the new cabinet lineup had been completed and that no further changes will be made. Qualifications of prospective cabinet ministers are being examined. The Premier said the qualifications of prospective ministers are being examined before their names are submitted to His Majesty the King for final endorsement. Then, a statement of the government policy will be delivered to the public within 15 days. The Premier said all cabinet portfolios are equally important, while calling for an end to movements on social media in regard to the cabinet seat allocation. The cabinet could be reshuffled if any particular ministers fail to perform their duties or do not live up to their expectations. The Premier said he has reached a mutual understanding with every party involved. The Premier raised concerns over recent parliamentary meetings and called on members of Parliament, or MPs, to not try to overthrow his administration in Parliament. He advised all MPs endorse bills designed in the course of national sustainable interests. He said policies of the opposition might combine with those of the government if they were primarily designed to meet the demands of the people nationwide. In our next story, the Thai government has been undertaking various measures to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated, or IUU fishing by enforcing laws in accordance with international standards. However, some new fishing regulations affect local fishermen, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives is sending out officials to follow up on the situation and seek solutions to their problems. An official from the Secretariat of the Cabinet, Duliadet Wacharasin, led a group of officials from the Department of Fisheries to meet with groups of fishermen in the eastern provinces of Trat, Rayong, and Jantaburi. The fishermen asked that some sections of the Fisheries Act be revoked as the Ministry of Agriculture promises to form a committee to handle this issue. A total of 18 sections are expected to be amended to meet the fishermen's needs. To address the labor shortage in the fisheries sector, the government has been urged to allow migrant workers with temporary work permits, also known as pink cards, to continue working in Thailand for the time being. The fisheries sector calls on the administration to continue enforcing Section 83 of the Fisheries Law, which allows the Department of Fisheries to register additional foreign workers. And the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee commenced on Sunday, with one of the key topics being the 3 potential sites Thailand wishes to propose to UNESCO to be listed as World Heritage Sites. The 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee is being held in Baku, Azerbaijan from June 30th to July 10th of 2019. The meeting discusses the 3 potential sites in Thailand that could potentially be granted UNESCO World Heritage status. The first site is Sitep Historical Park, an ancient city that has played an important role in the exchange of cultures and trade in Southeast Asia. Sea Tape Historical Park serves as a trade and cultural center, given its ideal geographical location. The second site is the ensemble of Phnom Rung, Muang Tam, and Plai Bat sanctuaries in Buriram province. These sanctuaries are a unique complex of Angkorian structures that reflect outstanding aspects of architecture, engineering, human settlement, waterworks, and land use. These sites reflect the interaction between people and their environment and the effects of social and cultural changes over time. The committee is expected to take these sites into consideration on July 4th and 5th. UNESCO will also consider Kengkrachan National Park as a potential World Heritage Site, given it has an ecological connection with Thung Yai Naresuan and Hoi Kha Kheng Wildlife Sanctuary. It's time for a short break now, but don't worry, we have more headlines for you after these messages. Stay tuned.
Many varieties of rice, including white, red, brown, purple, or even black rice. Using innovation technology, there is an available of virgin rice bran oil in the market, which prepared from Thai brown rice, and it contains very high gamma oryzanol, up to more than 20,000 parts per million. I would like to call it in a short term as gamma oryzanol enriched rice bran oil, or GRBO. In Asian country, from eating rice, we have now changed to processed food. So I think rice bran oil can supplement those biologically active to your bodies and help prevent many diseases.
Rice bran oil is one of the most nutritious and healthy edible oils. For rice bran oil, the research that I have done so far is to value added to rice bran oil products, such as I use refined rice bran oil to produce powder salad dressing, and also the liquid and powder non-dairy creamers. Rice bran oil industry, they try to increase the gamma oryzanol, which is found only in rice bran oil. And this gamma oryzanol is very powerful antioxidant. Its antioxidant activity is greater than vitamin E 6 times.
Rice bran oil is one of the high nutritious, and it has many pharmacological activities. Rice bran oil could be considered as a personalized lifestyle medication.
Welcome back to the program. Let's look at the progress on the Eastern Economic Corridor of Innovation, or EECI project. PTT Public Company Limited, the national oil and gas conglomerate, will launch its Terms of Reference, or TOR, for the auction of the Wangtan Valley Development Project for a 30-year lease contract. Hong Si Charan Warawut, the director of PTT's Wangtan Valley Development Project in the EECI, said the infrastructures comprising water, electricity, and transportation are being developed to support investment in Wangtan Valley. Investment in public utilities is likely to be completed by next year and will be ready for use in the year 2021. The TOR will be open to investors who are interested in investing in community malls, hotels, and schools in the EECI zone. The TOR will be publicized in the third quarter of this year. Initially, international schools will be established to feed human resources to the ECCI zone, or EECI zone that is, for a span of 30 years. Meanwhile, Global Power Synergy Public Company Limited will sign an agreement on solar farming and floating solar solutions. In addition, Huawei Technologies Company Limited will set up an innovation campus in the community area of the EECI. And on to technology, the Digital Economy Promotion Agency, or DEPA, has been promoting technological implementation in the industrial sector through a campaign to digitize local businesses and community enterprises. An example of such can be seen at a palm oil factory in Chonburi Province, where a mobile application helps them save operating costs. The Digital Economy Promotion Agency, or DEPA's Senior Executive Vice President, Chachai Kunpititlak, visited a one-stop palm oil manufacturing plant in the Eastern Economic Corridor in Chonburi Province. The factory produces bottled palm oil and biodiesel and is operated by Suksombun Palm Oil Company Limited. Participating farmers use the company's Suksombun smartphone application to enhance farm management, maintenance, harvest, yield quantity report, and yield prediction. Data collected from this application are transmitted to the company's database, enabling accurate import of data to the manufacturing line and cutting unnecessary expenses. And in our next story, the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, or MSDHS, is slated to host a big fair late this week to demonstrate the government's commitment to finding solutions to social problems in a systematic and sustainable manner and developing innovations and technology for social development and people of all ages in Thailand. The ministry and 22 network agencies from both the public and private sectors in Thailand and ASEAN will jointly present the Thailand Social Expo 2019 on the concept of Partnerships for Sustainability from July 5th to 7th at Impact Muang Thong Thani. It is being designed to showcase the government's performance in the field of social work. The fair will mount displays on social innovation and technology for a developing society and targets people of all ages and the important social initiatives of Thailand and ASEAN. Parameti Wimonsiri, MSDHS Permanent Secretary, said the government is committed to solving social problems in a systematic and sustainable manner by developing both the welfare and social protection systems to accommodate human development throughout a lifetime. This requires cooperation of all sectors to develop a quality society to achieve stability, prosperity, and sustainability. The first Thailand Social Expo last year saw over 35,000 visitors and was considered a great success. The event this week will feature various interesting activities, including an academic forum, free health checkups, free eye exams, employment services, social innovation movements such as innovations and facilities for the disabled and the elderly, stage performances, and booths selling food and Thai products. And it's time for our ASEAN segment now. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed satisfaction over the outcomes of the G20 summit, which he thinks support ASEAN development plans. After attending the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, the Premier said Thailand, as this year's ASEAN chair, brought the resolutions adopted during the 34th ASEAN summit in Bangkok to the attention of the G20 meeting. The meeting agreed to ASEAN economic and technological development plans, which could affect Thailand and other countries worldwide. Thailand looks for measures to cope with the world's economic conditions, which should gradually improve. Meanwhile, Thailand and other ASEAN member states are ready to develop digital technology and cope with climate change while reducing carbon footprint and marine garbage. The premier confirmed that Thailand and ASEAN will support the Indo-Pacific Cooperation Strategy and Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, as well as promoting peace throughout the ASEAN region with a peaceful approach to the South China Sea dispute. In addition, General Prayut said ASEAN has endorsed measures by Myanmar to resolve the Rohingya issue on a voluntary basis and hold talks with Bangladesh. Depleted gem resources and mass mining strategies in Chanthaburi province to feed the rising demands of the jewelry industry are prompting a local family to step up their game to preserve local resources as well as the traditional way of mining. And Panotsi Sinsap has this story for us.
This is how gemstones are traditionally mined here in Chanthaburi. Messy work in a 4-meter deep hole. Sometimes one even has to make a dive underwater. Piles of lumpy dirt are dug up and placed either in a basket or on a rack, and water is used to wash away the dirt. Then, like magic, gems will start to appear.
พอเราได้แล้วเราต้องล้างน้ำให้สะอาดนะครับแล้วก็ส่องโอ้อย่างอันนี้คือเขียวส่องครับอันนี้เป็นพลอยเขียวส่องมีคุณภาพเม็ดนินครับอันนี้นินเม็ดใหญ่ครับ
Chanthaburi has for centuries always been a land of gems, and once the gems were even more abundant, so plentiful that every time rain came, the water washed away the dirt, revealing sparkling gems right on the ground. Soon, mega mining began. From simple laboring work, demand forced the search for gems to become a mega mining industry. This encouraged the Phung Trakul family to make a difference.
จริงๆแล้วเราเป็นครอบครัวที่ประกอบอาชีพการขุดพลอยแล้วก็ทำเกษตรกรรมเนี่ยมาตั้งแต่เรียกว่าเป็น100 ปีแล้วก็ว่าได้นะครับเพราะว่าทำมาตั้งแต่รุ่นทวดเลยนะครับก่อนที่เราจะเปิดศูนย์เนี่ยคุณแม่ของพี่ไม่สบายนะครับท่านเป็นโรคมะเร็งแล้วก็ตอนนั้นเนี่ยพอมีคนเข้ามาเนี่ยท่านก็ลงมารับลูกค้าด้วยตัวเองก็คือมาขายผลไม้มาขายพลอยอะไรแบบนี้นะครับเราก็เห็นถึงความสุขในบั้นปลายชีวิตของแม่ละเราก็เลยว่าถ้าอย่างนั้นเดี๋ยวเราสร้างอาคารหนึ่งดีกว่าเพื่อที่คุณแม่จะได้อยู่ที่ร้านเลยจะได้ไม่ต้องเดินมาลำบากจากบ้าน100 ปีแล้วก็มีผลไม้วางขายนักท่องเที่ยวจะได้มีที่พักนะครับมันสร้างได้แค่โครงหลังคาคุณแม่ก็เสียชีวิตไปก่อนนะครับด้วยโรคมะเร็งพี่ก็เลยคุยกับครอบครัวครับว่าเราถ้างั้นเดี๋ยวเราทำต่อละกันทำต่อแล้วก็เปิดมันเป็นศูนย์การเรียนรู้ไปเลยเพื่ออนุรักษ์กระบวนการขุดพลอยเนี่ยของบรรพบุรุษเราใช้นามสกุลของคุณแม่นามสกุลเหล็กเพชรมาตั้งเป็นชื่อบ่อพลอยเหล็กเพชรครับ
Having been open for 2 years and proving popular, the facility is well suited to the area as people get to learn how to dig for gems and can do it themselves. The gems they find are theirs to keep. Visitors are also able to explore and taste organic fruit varieties, sustaining the traditional way of life. Those interested are welcome to visit the facility or search for @Bo Phoi Lek Phet on Facebook to learn more about the traditional way of mining in Chanthaburi. Patalin Temisudkun and Panotsi Sinsap in NBT World.
In our first global headline, U.S. President Donald Trump arrived in South Korea on Saturday, where he met South Korean President Moon Jae-in at a dinner reception at the presidential compound in Seoul. Trump landed at Osan Air Base in Pyeongtaek, traveling from Osaka, Japan, where the G20 Leaders Summit concluded earlier in the day. As Trump arrived at the presidential palace in Seoul, known as the Blue House, he met members of South Korea's popular boy band EXO and the country's golf legend Se Park. Trump was accompanied by his daughter and presidential advisor Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner, as well as U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. The two leaders then attended a dinner where Moon praised Trump's tweeted proposal for a meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at the Korean Demilitarized Zone, or KDZ. Later on, Trump traveled to the KDZ, separating the two Koreas, to meet Kim. The meeting was broadcast live in South Korea as millions of viewers watched. Trump became the first U.S. president to cross the demilitarized zone. In our next global headline, more than 10,000 Georgians took to the streets of Tbilisi on Saturday in what they called a march for peace, demanding Russia pulls back its forces from the country's breakaway regions and calling for the resignation of the interior minister. Hundreds of people, both demonstrators and police officers, were injured in violent protests last week over a visit to the parliament by a Russian lawmaker. Protesters demanded the resignation of Georgia's Interior Minister, Georgi Gakaria, over the violence. No clashes were reported during Saturday's event. Russian influence in Georgia remains a politically sensitive subject. The small country, a U.S. ally, fought and lost a short war against Moscow in 2008. The two countries have not had diplomatic ties since, and Russia went on to recognize the independence of two breakaway regions, South Ossetia and Abkhazia, where Russian troops are now garrisoned. And thousands of people gathered in New York to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the LGBTQ rights movement and decry what activists view as a campaign by the Trump administration to reverse half a century of progress for their cause. The rally, organized by NYC Pride, or New York City Pride, was one of the highlights of a week of festivities commemorating the so-called Stonewall Uprising of June 28, 1969. On that date, patrons of a Greenwich Village gay bar called the Stonewall Inn rose up in defiance of police harassment, triggering days of rioting in the streets of Lower Manhattan. Their resistance gave birth to the national and global movement for equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and other queer people, historians say.
It's very emotional. It's very special. I feel a tremendous pride of being gay and liberated because I was able now, because of Stonewall, to marry this man 6 months ago. And I want to love the way I want to love. I love my family. I love my mother and father and my brothers and sisters. And I also want to love a significant other. And it's very important to me that I have this right and establish my family as I see fit and live freely in this special, special land of ours, the United States and New York City, that I love.
Starting Friday, revelers and protesters began gathering in the park and public square outside the bar, with thousands encamped there ahead of the rally. Police, some wearing helmets and carrying tactical weapons, barricaded the surrounding streets, a usual precaution for large gatherings, such as the annual New Year's Eve celebration in Times Square.
So I'm here with my husband. We were here for Stonewall 25, and that's him. And come on in. So this is Mark Weinrest. So we came here for Stonewall 25 years ago. We never could imagine that we would arrive 25 years later for Stonewall 50 and be married and live in almost an entirely different culture than we lived in 25 years ago. So much has changed for the better, and I'm so grateful for all that society has done to accommodate gay, lesbian, transgendered rights.
While the anniversary promises to have a celebratory air, activists see the occasion as a way to protest U.S. President Donald Trump's record, which many consider to be hostile to LGBTQ people. They also want to highlight the still precarious position of LGBTQ people in many parts of the world. For most LGBTQ people, New York was a much more hostile place 50 years ago. Police raided the Stonewall, a mafia-owned gay bar, ostensibly to crack down on organized crime. But their mistreatment of the patrons, part of a pattern of abuse against LGBTQ people, touched off a riot, forcing police to barricade themselves inside the bar.
I think it shows that it's not over and that there's still more to go, but it's not that we're gone. It's still here and this movement is still happening and there's more to be done, and that it's going to get done by everyone coming here, from people that were a part of this movement when it started to people that are now kind of picking up the torch and going with it.
While celebrating 50 years of progress, many LGBTQ activists are sounding the alarm about a series of Trump administration initiatives, including a ban on transgender people in the military, cuts in HIV/AIDS research, and support for so-called religious freedom initiatives that eliminate LGBTQ protections. And exciting news, a new dinosaur species that inhabited Brazil some 90 million years ago has been discovered in the northwestern state of Paraná. Fossils for the Vesperosaurus paranaensis was found at the Cruzeiro do Oeste paleontological site. The newly discovered dinosaur, that is, reaches about 1.5 meters or approximately 5 feet in length and is a carnivorous biped. The characteristics of the fossil's feet and its unique claw helped researchers identify this find as a new dinosaur. Investigators believe that its breeding ground was in northwestern Brazil, which at the time was a desert. And on that exciting note, we now conclude today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to send them to us at our email address, which is nbtworld@prd.go.th. You can also follow us on Facebook. All you have to do is type in NNT, and you can check out our show on Facebook Live, as well as other content at the website, which is thainews.prd.go.th/en. Thank you for joining me, Sandra Han Utsaha, and the rest of the team for Newsline. For now, Sawasdee ka.